Yo, what's up there, guys? It's Immersive Gamer here. Thank you very much.
VR Gaming Evolved.
What's up, guys? It's Billy over Pretty Neat VR.
Cooking and good looking, and welcome back.
Hello, and welcome back to another Reality Check VR video.
Yo, guys. Welcome back to VRSpies weekly podcast. Tonight, we're a bit short-staffed. We have myself, VR Gaming Evolved, and we have Caleb over there, Reality Check VR.
Hello,
How are you doing,
hello.
Caleb?
Doing good. You can't hear me, right? We're just gonna verify. You can't hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, it's good. So far, so good. Starting a little bit late today, as you can see, but that's because we're short-staffed. We just wanted to make sure we were going to have some fun. So Greg and I have been doing a little bit of talking, but Greg won't shut up about Star Citizen, Elite Dangerous, space games in general. So I don't know, Greg, do you want to talk about some space game stuff?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously we've had Gamescom going on the past few days, and there's been a lot of stuff coming out of Gamescom to do with space sims. Star Citizen, obviously. Not so much about VR there, though. Still no VR in Star Citizen. Whether we see that in any time soon or not, I have no idea. I'd love to see it come back, but we'll just have to wait and see how the game progresses. More interested in Elite Dangerous at the moment because it does have VR support, and they've got a lot of stuff coming. Have you had any time to check any of the live streams out or that, Caleb?
I haven't seen any of the live streams of any of it. I saw a few little videos here and there. As far as Elite Dangerous, I saw one video where they were, driving in one of the big ships, and they had a smaller ship pop out and then, go attack this, the slower ship or the smaller ship that was attacking them in the first place. That was really cool. I did notice a lot of people in comments were like, that's so unrealistic. That would never happen. A big ship would just destroy that little thing. And, still the concept of it, of what they're doing, flying in space, being able to, make a smaller ship fall out of your bigger ship is awesome. It's really fun. It's really cool. And to be able to dock back into that big ship. Come on. So
exactly. I think what they're going to do first, though, is with these small launch fighters, basically, when they first bring them into the game, they're going to be AI controlled, and you need to recruit an AI pilot, kind of pay them in-game currency to come and fly for you. And depending on whether the pilot's a novice right up to a master level, there'll be different variations in price for hiring your pilot. So bring an interesting aspect into the game. I heard somewhere that ships like possibly the Anaconda will be able to carry up to 10 of these at one go. Now, where they're mentioning about bringing in like alien ships in the past few days, they've talked a little bit about alien ships coming in, and they will be coming in this update that's coming.
For a while there, have you?
Yeah, well, the thought of being able to come into battle with an alien ship and it dropping maybe 10 fighters, and you're in a sort of armada, you've maybe got one big mothership and there's a few in smaller fighters, and then all these fighters are dropping out of the main ship, big wars going on, it sounds really cool.
Yeah, no, especially, when you've got your friends playing with you, and from experiencing Elite Dangerous, I don't know, it's one of my favorite games that I've ever played. It's got so much, complexities added into it that you can't just, get stuck doing one thing. So if you say the game sucks at fighting, well, you don't have to be a fighter. You can go do cargo, and if you don't like to do that, you can kind of choose what you want to do in that game. And for me, of course, just the way that you travel through space, and when you hit a planet and the way that the sun flares hit you, everything looks so good in there. And I've always got to say it because, hey, I'm here. John's got his battle chair, but I don't have the battle chair. I've got the Walmart chair. I've got, of course, my back attack right here, which is transducers put into basically, a back thing. Back support. Of course, we've got the chair, and I'm on my rocket ship, man. So Greg, as soon as you get one of these, you'll be on your rocket ship here with me. A couple base Aurora base shakers, and I tell you, for real, every time you talk about space stuff, though, I get excited. I really do, because there's nothing that makes this chair really as useful. I mean, it works great with music and doing all kinds of other things, but playing Elite is my favorite thing to do with the transducer chair, simply because you've got the boost mechanics, you've got the way it feels when you come in and out the doors, and they've changed things through time, and what's weird is that I noticed a lot of developments because of the chair too. Like sounds change and get better, and of course they become more complex. And you notice those little things when you're using transducer chairs and more haptic feedback. When they have all those little intricacies in the game, you can really feel it. And there's things that I just don't even notice when I'm in that game, as far as being from the outside world. So I don't know. It's totally immersive, and I can really get into it. So it's exciting talking about it. Although it's been a long time since I've played. It's been a long time. But you and Chris have been playing quite a bit lately. So
yeah, we've played quite a bit. Mostly in the main campaign. I've been trying to get into CQC, but lately every time I try and get a match, there doesn't seem to be anybody playing. So it's a bit annoying because I really enjoy CQC, and that was one of the other updates that's coming out of Gamescom. We're going to see 3 new CQC environments, which I'm interested to see, but I'm also interested to see if I'm able to get in them, because if nobody's playing them, then although the game's really good, it's not really usable when people aren't playing it.
I remember you and I had been in the match for just waiting for, 15 minutes and not even getting anything at one point. And that was kind of right when it first started. Maybe the first week it was even going. But yeah, that's really, depressing when you're sitting there all excited and hyped to go. And VR takes a while to get into and get set up, especially with friends. And then you don't have anybody to play against. And some of the people have spoken about that recently, and part of that has to do with the numbers. And there is a limited amount of VR headsets out there, and you combine that with the fact that there are quite a bit of titles out there. There is a lot of content for people to to digest, as well as the fact that a lot of VR developers are working on their own content all the time. So it's a struggle for me to try to work on my own thing and then try to also play games at the same. I really want to play. I desperately want to play a lot of these games, and then you put them in that little special folder as I'm going to play this game, and then next week there's 10 more games that have come out, and it's like, okay, but I'm still going to go play that one, for sure. And it's just it's hard to at this point, because there really is a lot of content. Even with there being not that much, not as many people out there with the headsets, it's still difficult to find. A lot of people, but I've even heard people having difficulty, doing normal games like, what is it, like Blaze Rush on Oculus Home, or even big screen recently, even whichever app you're on. But hey, it's something that's expanding every single day. And as far as I see.
When you're talking about content, if you're talking about content on Steam VR, it's, to be honest, getting a bit crazy. There's a ridiculous amount of content on Steam VR now, to the point that it's I find it quite bonkers, to be honest. But,
right, and of course I know as well as everybody is that a lot of that content is just tech demos, hidden in disguise, and that's kind of what I think people are starting to try to get away from. And there are certainly developers out there who have put a lot of time and effort into making sure that their work has not gotten taken like that. And for example, you see games like The Climb, even though a lot of people don't think it's necessarily worth all that money, obviously when touch support comes out, it's going to be a whole different ball game, and a lot more people are going to find use from it. But that game is very polished looking. You've got achievements, just simple things like that, like we've talked about before. You expect those things in a normal game. Everybody's kind of expecting these things, and we are starting to see those with a lot of the Steam VR titles. Of course, like I said, having achievements and things like that. But for me, it really does impact how much I want to play a game. I didn't think so before, but having achievements, having a leaderboard, that it determines if I'm going to jump in that game the next day or not. Because even if I can't have friends in that world, it kind of makes me feel a lot more like I have people, that are around. And whether I can be in the top 10 of the leaderboard, if I have, of course, my friend leaderboard, if I can be on the top of my friends, or in the top 5 of my friends, I feel good. So, and there's no doubt that I like to be competitive in gaming, but that's what I think a lot of gaming is competing, right? Other than just experiencing things. When we're experiencing things, obviously there's no need for that, but there's not that many experiences out there, and when they do come out, they generally seem to be better than the games.
Well, talking of experiences, I was checking something out today called La Peri. La Peri or La Peri, I'm not sure how you say it, but it's a sort of, it's one of them, Caleb. It's a sort of, how would you describe it? Artsy fartsy type of experience. So
you love artsy fartsy, we know that.
It's done very well. It looks really nice. It's a very good VR experience. Don't know if I'd call it so much of a game, but very, very well put together sort of artistic VR thing.
Yeah.
There's like some sort of female dancing, and the animations are really nice, and it's done in a sort of. At points, it kind of reminded me of the Lawnmower Man at one point near the end. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I liked it.
So how long was it?
I'd take a guess, probably about 15 minutes or so.
15 minutes?
Like I say, it's not really a game, it's just more of an experience.
Still. I mean, is it one of those free experiences, or?
I don't know. I don't know how much it is, to be honest. I can't remember. And because I already have it in my library, I can't check the price, so I'd need to go and Google that.
Right.
Let's go and do that.
Okay, here, I'll show you real quick what I was doing. I think I can show it, and it should work. It should work. I think it will. It'll work. I was trying to do this thing. I got it to work earlier when I was testing it out, see? So, yeah, well, basically, I was playing with doing some mixed reality just at home with the normal webcam. So we could just turn the webcam on, and as long as we turned the webcam on, we were able to, just hold the controllers.
Nice.
Fun. And yeah, if you remember, we were doing this a little bit earlier. but right now, I think I have to restart my computer to get my USB drivers to reset perfectly. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff, though. I like that. It's nice.
Yeah. So fun stuff. We're working on here today. I just wish that it was working right now. Man. Man, oh man. So
you were checking out what was it? A VR mat?
A VR mat. That's right. Yeah.
You wrote an article on the website, didn't you?
I guess we should jump to that real quick, right?
Yeah, we should have a look at that thing.
It's probably time. What do you think about it? I mean, from what you've seen, it is but a mat, right?
It is but a mat, but I suppose you can find the center of your room and what direction you're facing in easily. And I think if you've been using VR for months on end and quite a lot of hours, then you probably get to the point where you find you don't need that. But I know myself, when I first put the Vive on, and I wasn't used to room scale, I was used to sitting in my seat at my desk with the DK2. I found myself very apprehensive about moving around the room and swinging my arms at first. Although you can see the chaperone, when you're swinging your arm, the chaperone will activate as your controller becomes close to the wall. So if you're swinging fast, then you might not see it in time if you're swinging really fast, if you know what I mean. You might not have time to stop yourself. So this thing, I suppose, could help people that are new to VR and just ease them in a bit easier, let them find their room scale space quite easily now. I mean, I know I was playing a game the other day called Racket NX, which is a free demo. And that thing, you really actually, I wouldn't recommend that game to a beginner because you really need to know your room scale. If you've got a big room and there's nothing in the way and you know you're not going to smash something, fine. But if you've got a smaller room, you really need to know your room size and be used to that so you don't punch the walls. Right.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think one thing for me when I was using it, I mean, just even before I had it, like you said, you as you get used to your room, you might not need it. I kind of think the opposite. As you play more VR and you get more immersed, you might need it more and more. I've had a few people say, well, why would you want something that breaks your immersion in such a way? Well, complete truth, I play a lot of VR. I do it all the time. And one of my most common moves is to pull the headset, off my face to figure out where I'm at in the room. The old quick, hey, where am I? Oh, there I am, and put it right back down. And every time I do that, that little bit of hair and whatnot goes on the lenses and you get it all smudges. Smudges a bit. Of course, I wear the do-rag almost all the time, especially if I'm going to be sweating. Sometimes I forget to, but I usually try to wear that, and that helps a lot with the smudging. But even if the do-rag's all sweaty and you put that thing up there, guess what? It's going to get sweaty smudge, and that's just always going to interfere with you looking at it. And that breaks up the immersion because then I have to pull my headset off and then clean the lenses and then put it back on. So that breaks immersion right there, that situation. And I do that so often because I am trying to find where I am in my room. I've got a long enough cable to where I can sit there and spin in place 15, 16, 17 times. I've tried it. And the only reason I don't go more than that is because I don't like seeing my cable get so twisted. I don't like that. But I mean, I can spin and spin and spin, and my cable can be anywhere in the room. So I don't know necessarily from where my cable's tugging on me where the center is. And of course, when you're in VR, I can say very little things. Some of the best immersive experiences I've had is when I forget where I am in my room. Having said that, you don't want to always forget where you are in your room. Like Greg said, if you're going to be swinging faster, doing a game like that, you want to be immersed, but you also want to not break your shit. You want to not be breaking your controllers. You want to not be smashing your TV screens. You want to stop creating VR fail videos, because as somebody who records videos, I also want to not screw up in front of the camera, and I also want to address the camera. So having a north button for me allows me to actually figure out where the camera is. Myself, I've done this. Yeah, you've done this, and I know Don even recently said that when he did his room scale game, he was doing his outro away from the camera. Because you do, if you're keeping your headset on and you're using the microphone, and not that this is specific to YouTuber people, but just in general, when you were talking to the camera, all of a sudden I'm like convinced that the camera's there. I take the headset off and it's way over there, and it's like, all right, I had no idea where I was in my room clearly. And even though I've got that carpet, and I can feel the edges of the carpet to know I'm off my boundaries, even before the chaperone system comes in, I know I'm off my boundaries. I still don't know where my front is. So I can say this mat has created a very, very simple and elegant solution to a VR problem that is a necessary one. When you can simply touch your button anywhere and then touch another button that tells you, where your front is, your brain instantly recognizes where you are. You don't question it, and you can fully swing that arm all the way around because you know that you're on that mat. And the whole thing is, when I first saw it, I thought that, the mat's supposed to be as big as your space. And even though they are supposed to be making bigger mats here in the future, the thing is, you're not, as long as you can put 1 foot on it or even go back to touching it with 1 foot, I mean, it works pretty well. So when I was doing the VR dance competition, I was running around my whole room. And basically what I was doing is I was running around the room, and anytime I'd feel like I was getting close to an edge, I'd kind of put 1 foot back and I'd touch it. And I'm like, okay, there I am. And I just kind of scoot back to the center of it, and that's how I knew my center. Not that it's necessary, and not that you can't do a lot of custom fixes. You certainly could. This is just one solution, and it's of course made by an industrial supplier, and it's going to be going on Kickstarter here soon. So that's the info with that.
What's it actually called?
It's called the Proximat, right? VR proximity mat. Yeah, and I obviously I'm not getting paid to do this product. I got a few prototypes sent to me, so I'm just reviewing them, and I'm personally somebody who loves simple things, who loves fixes, and of course as I've got a carpet that I bought specifically because I want it to be the size that I wanted to kind of stay in, and this mat does a better job of that. It's a very simple statement, and it's true. And the fact that I can roll it up and put it where I want to, it's not intrusive. It's not going to get in the way of things. Nobody's going to have to say, hey, what's that big lumbersome thing over there? No, it's a freaking mat. And I'm sure in the future we could add things like buttons and haptic feedback and Bluetooth, or all kinds of response. There's going to be all kinds of epic, crazy mats in the future for VR. You can bet your ass on that. But mats that you'll see that'll be motion tracked in the room with your, what I mean? There's no doubt that we're going to have games that are going to have that kind of stuff. But this is kind of the beginning of that stuff.
Yeah. And talking to crazy games that will have things mapped into them, and crazy contraptions for VR. I'm looking at a thing called Roto VR at the moment. I don't know if you've seen that, Caleb. It's a seat that basically it rotates. You plug the headset into the seat, it powers. It needs power. The seat rotates, it raises. It has buttons on the footrest, so you've actually got buttons down there that can be applied to a game in the footrests. Quite crazy looking things. So we'll see. Looking to maybe try and get one of these things in for review in somewhere near the end of the year. Nice, Ben.
A Roto chair. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like they put a little pack on there that'll turn you. Oh, so it turns you just by turning your head.
Yeah, exactly.
I see. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. And the fact that you can, of course, plug your stuff in means that you don't have to worry about your cables getting caught up and having problems.
Yeah, exactly. You've got all your USB ports and stuff in there, everything you need.
That is terrific. That is really nice. I mean, talking about staying centered in VR. If you have one of these suckers, good luck. And it's even got the rumble packs on it.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet, but
Somebody's been paying attention.
Yeah, like I say, hopefully we'll be
No, I like that. I
reviewing
love
one
to
of these later in the year.
It's great to see somebody
really interested.
Yeah. So I assume you've contacted them, right?
Yeah, I've been speaking to them.
Yeah, it's good to hear. It's good to hear. So working on that. Great.
Yeah, they're a UK-based company. They're down in London.
Dude, there's so many UK-based companies that are into VR right now. It's mind-blowing. It's pretty crazy right now. Considering that UK's behind on everything. No, I'm just joking. UK's great. I'm always, every time I get contacted by somebody, a lot of times you'd assume. I would assume it's an American company because I see a lot of American conferences using these games and things, and you realize all their organizers are over there in Europe, and they're just sending out proxies to do a lot of that stuff. But good for them.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's, we know. So, you been checking out any other games lately?
Games. I haven't played too many. I played the Trickster VR a little bit recently. I liked, because it was a wave shooter. I saw that. That was a little bit of fun. It was a little crazy. Did you play that one at all? You know what I'm talking about?
I haven't. I checked out a couple of videos. I had a look at your video of that. I've checked out quite a few people's videos. It looked fun. It looked quite fun. Yeah. So how did you get on with that?
It was good. I mean, it doesn't seem like a completely finished game, obviously. There was times when I would shoot enemies and you would see their hitbox kind of not be where you thought it was. And it's weird how in virtual reality you can really tell the difference of when an arrow actually goes through your target, and when it doesn't. So things like that I noticed. So it's got some work to do, but I love that cartoony look in games. I liked how they were coming from different areas, and I don't know, it was certainly fun. I've had a few on and off problems. I think I need to get some more power for my PC or something. The truth is my PC has always been a building effort. So it's always been slowly, piece by piece by piece, upgraded. I've never just had a nice, full-on, good upgraded computer. So I don't know, something about it seems to be having some issues with power recently. And right now I'm having an issue with that happening. Mm-hmm. What tends to happen with me is sometimes, like I've got at the moment, the 4 sensors hooked up, right? So that's going to cause some power issues. And it doesn't usually cause power issues. It doesn't. But every once in a while, my computer's been on for a long period of time, and I've used another extension for, I've got 7 15-foot extensions going on my computer right now, mm-hmm. Plus a lot of other cables. So, it seems like after I've been on it for hours and done things that, sometimes, not always, sometimes it just has power issues. And right now, I'm getting 1 or 2 sensors to pop up, and then they're switching, so I'm getting those 2, and then these 2, and then those 2, and then they're kind of hopping around. And I want all 4, because that's what I'm used to, and that's what works, beautifully. Mm-hmm. So if I restart right now, I'm confident that would work, but obviously we're doing the podcast, and I can't restart in the middle of that, so. Yeah. We're just gonna power through, and I'll try to show it off some other cool time. Mm-hmm. But right now, to be fair, I can show you. When I go into my Oculus, everything looks to be, good. I guess I should. There we go. Boom. So yeah, you can see each sensor. Yeah, each sensor has its own. They're all good. 3.0, 3.0, 3.0. They shouldn't have a problem with any of them. So yeah, and then what? No.
What? No, you got them for your feet as well.
You can't. Yeah, right. I wish. It's weird. It's working. But that's all normal stuff.
Oh, now that would be interesting. Attach a set of them to your feet for walking in VR.
Well, if you got what is that
walking
thing?
On the spot.
What's that thing called? I can't remember. I'm gonna feel bad because I can't remember what the name of it.
Oh, dude! Teleportation solved. Motion controller on each foot. Walk on the spot.
Well, hey, there's a lot of people who have done like if you just move your arms right with the motion controllers, holding them, then you'll walk with the character, right?
See,
I think you were talking about that last week.
Yeah. But this is maybe a little bit more sensible because when you look at swinging your arms, it does propel you forward, and yes, I do like the idea of that. But then when you come into a shooting mechanic, going from actual movement to shooting would then become a bit difficult. Whereas if you were using your feet with extra controllers...
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. The one thing that I have to say when it comes to using your feet in VR is I had a little bit of experience doing that running in place when I was trying out with one of the VR unicorns. You know, they're doing their Olympics, you know, games, and I was trying out their track and field, and I tried to run in place in VR, and I tell you what, it's damn near impossible for me to do it. When I think in my mind that I'm still standing in place, I was running across the freaking room in real life, and I couldn't tell. So. Even though I felt like I was trying to stay in place, if you don't have that visual reference, it's really easy to run off. Maybe now that I have a Proximat, I won't go running into my walls. But yeah, it's difficult to run in place in VR for myself.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say that.
Yeah.
Say that. Oh, and here, one thing I do got to say, 'cause I was going to say it before we stopped the subject earlier. I did get a message. He's going to be doing the Kickstarter for the Proximat. Their company, and it looks like the 24-foot edition, or the 24 feet. Yeah, the 24-inch is going to be $30. The 36-inch will be $50. But of course, if you do the Kickstarter early bird editions, that'll be $22 for the smaller one and $35 for the bigger one. And of course, these are industrial built. They will not, you know, I can say the quality of them. I don't think these things will ever break or degrade unless I burned them or, you know, tried to cut them with a saw or something. I mean, they're made out of just heavy duty rubber, so simple as that. So yeah, they're meant to be stuff that you can use forever. And one cool thing is there are a lot of those VR, what are they called? You know, the VR arcades that are popping up, right? And some of the ones in Utah, I believe, from what I've heard, are going to be potentially using these in every single stall. So when you walk in, you've got your headset. Everyone's going to have a Proximat on it so that you'll know where you are. I mean, that's just going to be kind of a standard for these VR type halls. And I can totally dig that. I mean, I'm not trying to push it so much other than the fact that I love it when people have simple, good ideas. And you know, like I said, I'm not making money on that. I know they're going to be successful whether people like them or not, because simple things always are successful, especially when they do create a solution for a problem. And having played enough VR, I can say that's been a little bit of an issue. It's always knowing where you are, especially if you're in smaller areas. So yeah, you don't want to. You never want to break that window. You never want to be that guy in the video that breaks the window. You know, unless it gets unless you get millions of views, and then you could buy yourself a few windows. But even then, you're going to have to hope that you're the one that posts the video and that you got AdSense and all that crap. It's can't keep track of half that stuff.
So something interesting that I'm actually just a way to put out a video on after the podcast, which is a very, very interesting prospect for me, is Red Bull Air Race. Now, Red Bull Air Race is made by Slightly Mad Studios, who are the devs behind Project Cars. And I'm just going to change over here and go into here. And
hey, I'm on a double screen.
Open this up. Can you see that, Caleb?
Yep. We're watching you right now.
Yep.
We're looking.
So I'm just going to play a little bit of one of the trailers for the game here. All of this is in-game footage. It works with the HTC Vive I've been in. It looks absolutely gorgeous, as you can see. So yeah, Red Bull Air Race is looking really, really good. And like I say, I'll be doing a little review video on that, well, preview video, I suppose, on that after the podcast.
Cool. That's awesome to hear. I assume you're using controller support?
Yes, it has keyboard support. It's got Xbox 360 support, well, Xbox 360 pad support, and
it doesn't look like it has HOTAS yet.
It does. It does have HOTAS.
It does? So
yeah,
cool games don't have HOTAS support now.
It's got all three. And like you can see, it's a fast-paced racing in crazy, crazy little stunt planes.
The water even looks good, so hey, I'm in.
So, yep. If you go, you can see there on the website, you can go there. If you've got a HTC Vive, it works. I believe it works with the Oculus Rift CV1 as well. So if you got that HOTAS there, or even the Xbox Joypad, it's worth a look. It's free to download at the moment.
Cool. Greg, have you been paying attention to questions?
No, I haven't.
Dude, you're a terrible host.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I mean, come on.
We've usually got more hands on deck, mate. I'm sure these people out here that are watching this nonsense can appreciate. We're down to 2. The others have left us.
Yes.
Selfish. Selfish.
UKRifter has been in chat moderating. I do know that much.
Ah.
He said that a while ago. Apparently has good internet, so I don't know why he can't just jump on in here with his super fancy good internet. I mean, yeah, whatever, buddy. I don't have my super fancy internet anymore, and it doesn't come with the apartment either. Nope. Nope. In Florida, they're like, you got to pay for it, and it's slower. Enjoy that, Caleb. Enjoy that. So, by the way, everything's more expensive.
Yeah. So yeah, I believe Chris is over in the Netherlands. He's
again.
He's over there visiting Nessie. They're going out for a beer and
I see.
No, he's over there on holiday with his family, and Don is very busy with work. Wayne is also very busy with work, and poor old Billy. Well, he got run over by a bus, so no more Billy.
Oh, poor Billy. Poor Billy. Game Hard. It's been now almost 3 weeks. I've heard from Game Hard. I know some stuff's happened, and I just wish him the best. Hopefully we hear from him again somewhat soon.
Yeah, he's having a bit of a rough time of it, isn't he? But never mind. Hopefully he'll recover from this soon enough. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to as always, playing back with y'all.
One thing I do want to say is that Billy, I talked to him recently. I know he's been he's got a lot of things going on, obviously getting some different jobs and looking for different work here and there, as myself was doing. But I know that I've been working really hard in doing some Unity developments. I've been working on 4 different titles myself, at least trying to get their basic mechanics thoroughly, put forth in a nice Unity package that I could just show somebody if they asked at any moment. And I am happy to say that there's one that I've gotten to a point to where I am, just about testing on with some other people. The one thing I need to implement is multiplayer support, which I have not done yet. I have looked into it, and there are so many different ways to do it. And I know multiplayer support is something that's constantly, believe it or not, changing a lot as far as how people are implementing it and kind of the best ways to do it. And I want to do it in the best way that doesn't take up the most space or, need too much server support. But regardless, there are ways to do that. Anyways, people smarter than me know how to do these things. I'm not trying to say I know it all. I don't. I know very little. I know much more about the design development of things as opposed to implementing that kind of resource, or what is it? The multiplayer networking support? I really don't know. All I know is that if anybody knows more about it, you can certainly contact me if you believe you know the best way to implement it. But regardless, I have talked to Game Hard, Billy, several people about just doing different things with developments. But Billy has seemingly gotten pretty excited about it. He's jumped into Unity and gotten a few projects done. So it might be at the point to where he's going to be helping me make some things for this as well. But I've got a really, really fun playable game, and basically the game name I'm going with right now is Toy Coliseum. You guys have seen it before in some of the demo worlds that I played where I'm playing with some of the characters. But what I've got now is we're going to do a trailer release hopefully at the end of next month. It's probably when it'll actually be, because I want people to be playing together. I don't want to release a trailer of a game that doesn't show its full potential. And if it's just me playing around in a mixed reality video, some people think it's funny. Most people will think it's pathetic, I think. So I want to meet with my friends playing, or at least some other people, and then just show some different things. Anyways, but basically the whole concept is, and I don't think I've really expressed it in any videos, but since we don't have a little bit of time, I will really quickly. And the whole concept is, you spawn into a bedroom, and of course you have the ability to add friends, add friends if you want to, right? And a room, it's a bedroom. But basically, you're like playing with your toys. For me, growing up, I didn't have Barbies or dolls, but I certainly had like action figures, right? Batman action figures. I had Superman action figures. I had Power Ranger action figures. And of course, I could take these little action figures and I could put the Batman in his Batman car, close the lid, and move the car around. And I loved that, right? So my whole concept of the game was to create a bunch of action figures of all different sorts, right? So you've got your action figure superheroes, you've got your medieval times, you've got your soldiers. So you can kind of choose different kind of methods, right? And of course, you've got dioramas that you can in place. So you can choose your dioramas and kind of choose different little backgrounds to put behind these scenes and set them. And they're static dioramas, so wherever you place them, they'll stay, right? And you've got different things you can add, like TNT, bombs, fire, cold things, different kind of elements that you can add to the characters and let them play with each other. They'll attach to the characters. The character can move them around. Anyways, as you're holding them in your hands, you can maneuver the characters about, and you can play with your friends. At any point, you can click in your thumbstick, or if you've got a touchpad, you can click that in and you can become the character. So now all of a sudden you're the character. And if you're looking up, obviously you're not there anymore, but if your friend is still in the room, you would see your big friend there then. But you could be the character, right? And he could then pick you up if you wanted to, or at least attempt to. You could run away or fly away, or, depending on what character you are. Different characters have different abilities, depending on which one you're becoming. And to become a different character, you simply go back into your big adult body, pick up a different character, and then you can become that character. And of course, you can then drive cars, drive airplanes. The whole point is to be able to just be in a room, play different characters, become big or small, drive cars, play with different things, and do it with friends. And that's the basis of the game. It is somewhat a tech demo by itself. It is a sandbox. But I believe if there's enough polish, if there's enough, fun music, and if, you add abilities to, like, kind of record a scene, even add a video camera that you could then record, that way we could make a YouTube video, but then I could have an output camera, be what we're recording, in the game, and you do, I don't know, there's a lot of things you believe you can do in that atmosphere, and I know I've had hours and hours of fun playing it here at home by myself with my wife. So I'm really excited to get to play it with you guys and other people and to kind of show more of that. So I do hope I also get some more help doing it, since it is a hobby and we're doing it in our free time for free at the moment. But I have talked to some people about hopefully potentially getting investment, and so far nothing, but still crossing fingers. We're going to be building it regardless. It'll just take longer without investment, and it'll come faster with it. But I have spoken to some of the guys at different places, and even OSVR has reached out a little bit. So we'll see. Cross your fingers, and we'll talk more in the future about what's going to come from that. But
yeah, man, interesting times. Interesting times, mate. Hopefully that goes well for you. It's
a lot of fun. The best thing is, because I get to test applications and because I get to speak with other developers all the time, is, I feel like my ideas, of course they get to evolve. I try really hard not to ever copy anything, obviously. But there are so many, mechanics out there. Yeah, my game's going to have a Nerf gun and a bow and arrow and all that kind of stuff, but that's because if you go online and you go to Unity Steam Store and you sit there and download a $15 asset, guess what? You've already got all those things. So every game that we see coming out that has those things, it's the basics, especially if you're doing a sandbox that gives the player full control over a fun game room. We should be expecting, not that in every game, of course, but we should be expecting just more, more and more and more from people, especially when it is somewhat easy to create a lot of that stuff. But as I go saying this stuff, I don't want to put too much into my mouth. It takes a lot of work, and doing it by yourself. I certainly do have a lot of respect for a lot of the devs that have put out VR games recently, because you got to remember, not all of them that have put out what we consider crap content are trying to. A lot of them are just trying to advance VR. They're trying to get stuff out there as quickly as possible to keep people interested. We just have to make sure that we don't scare people away by constantly putting out crap games and making people think that everything is going to be the same thing over and over and over again. Because, if I sit there and download a game, or if I buy a game and I look down and I see hands that I personally have already bought an asset for, come on, guys. Come on, tweak it up a bit, change some stuff.
There's a game that I'll speak about here while we're talking about this sort of stuff. Now, this game has had, I don't know, about 2.5 years, maybe almost 3 years of development. It was originally for Oculus DK1 on Oculus Share. It's called Bank Limit. And now, that just released on Steam a few days ago.
I haven't played it yet, but
I had a look at the screenshots and that and thought, you know what, we'll give this a go. Now, it was $29.99, and you're thinking, right, okay, they must have polished this. And they released a demo for the DK2. Now, this is going back, I don't know, maybe 8 months, 9 months ago. There was a demo released for the DK2. Maybe not quite as far back as that, but nothing has changed at all in this game. It's had 3 years, and I don't know, it was just completely lifeless. And for the money that they were asking on it, you're like... Now, I've noticed they've dropped the price on this. It's down to, I think it's $18.99 now, but I mean, sort of stuff like that. You're thinking to yourself, how could this possibly have been in development for 3 years, 2.5, 3 years,
Yeah, I didn't personally see the game. Did you see the game personally? I'm sorry, did you say that?
Yeah,
did you play it yourself, though?
Yeah, I did. I played it myself.
I was going to play it. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but yeah, from what I heard, it was like $50 originally, and then people weren't very happy with it, considering that it was a finished game, not an early access game. And maybe it was a long time development, but the fact is, here's what I have to say for that. If somebody said, how long of a development process was it?
I'd say about, I'm taking a guess here, probably about 2.5 years, maybe.
Yeah, anything that you were working on, even over a year ago, if it was for VR, it's going to be incredibly hindered by the fact that technology and software has changed so much since the consumer release. I mean, that's for me. Trying to teach Unity and do different things for programs for VR has been so difficult because I will sit there and create some videos, and then and just a month later, boom, an update comes out that makes half that video not true. Or unnecessary, and it's a great thing that things are getting easier. I'm so happy about that. So happy that things are getting easier. But then things change, scripts change, and methods are, of course, increasingly getting more diverse. But it's a good thing. So there's more opportunities to create VR in different ways, and it's becoming more manageable to do so because obviously hardware is finally starting to catch up slowly. But yeah, we're getting past the development phases somewhat. We're still very much there, and I think that we're probably about another. Well, here's a random amount of time, 6 months away from just kind of having that time from before we're talking about just experiences, because we're still in the debate of can Oculus, and I mean people are getting farther away from that, but we're not just focused on content yet. And when we're just focused on content and less about the hardware, I think games are going to get better. And of course, once touch comes out and people are playing with that, and people have played with it for a few months, that's all we're going to be caring about is content. That's all. That's all. So games are going to have to get better, and they're going to have to be good. And that's a good thing for me as a developer, and it's a good thing for me as a consumer. So happy all around.
Another game that I actually really love playing at the moment. Well, not at the moment because I can't. And this is a sort of constructive criticism. It's Formula Fusion, which is made by some of the original team from Wipeout, and it pretty much is Wipeout, but they just can't call it that because of Sony owning the rights to it. So they've made a similar looking game with a different name, and it has VR support. At the moment, they're waiting on implementing a cockpit for VR, so the first person view is just like a bonnet cam, and you've got a third person view. But for some reason or other at the moment, position when I'm seated, the game is over on my right hand side, way over there, off in the distance. So yeah, slightly annoying. I want to get back in that game and mess around. So guys, if you are listening to this nonsense, fix your shit, because I like it and I'm missing it.
Right? Here, I'm unplugging my USB cables right now, man. So
Actually, here's one quick question. What kind of motherboard are you running? Any idea what mobile you got?
It's Asus Sabertooth, mate.
Sabertooth, that's what I thought. So you and I are both running Sabertooths, and you don't have any extra card for your USBs, right? You're just running...
No, I don't.
See, I don't know for a fact, but I think even having a Sabertooth, I think if you're wanting to run 4 Oculus sensors, I think you're going to have to get one of those Initech...
yeah, well, I mean, I think if I had to plug in another couple of sensors, I would be then very, very, very limited. I've got 2 ports on the top front of the case, but then, once you've plugged into there, I'd have no option for any peripherals going in, like steering wheels and HOTASes and stuff like that,
Right. Well, I'm trying to plug mine in to a different... I've got 3.1 spots, right? Can you hear me? Like the 3.1 spots, but when I plug it into the 3.1, that seemingly just... It acts weird sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. As we're moving into things like VR, more and more ports are becoming more important. You're even seeing like the graphics card I recently got, the Asus Strix 1080. That card has 2 HDMI ports on the back of it, specifically because of VR, so that you can have 2 different headsets plugged in. And over the past years, that's more and more been kind of phased out, and it's really nice to see that we're getting 2 HDMI ports again, because it's kind of becoming necessary again.
Yeah.
So yeah, connectivity is definitely an issue when you're doing a lot of stuff in VR.
That's for damn sure. For damn sure. Especially when you have crazy setup, like works all day while you're not doing stuff. And then when you want to do something, it decides, I don't want to work. Caleb's going to do a podcast. Greg's going to be on. He's going to be all good looking and talking about Elite Dangerous, and you're just going to fall asleep. It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Hey, did we never got to talk about Star Citizen at all, did we?
No, we didn't really talk about Star Citizen.
You've been huge at Star Citizen all week.
Yeah, I actually jumped in again this morning. Did the massive update that was required. I don't even like to think how much space that game's taking up on my drive now. The last time I checked, it was about 60 gig. I don't know now after the update.
60 gigs, really?
Yeah, it's a big game, man. I think they were taking a guess at about 120 gig for install when it's finished. Which is it's a big old game. But yeah, the updates that they were showing us at Gamescom were just crazy. They showed us basically a mission that went on in a demo video. The demo video lasted a good 48 minutes, something like that, where they were flying from, I think it was Port Olisar. The guy wakes up in his little cot. He gets up, he goes down, he gets his ship on the hangar. He gets some sort of call, takes a video call, has to go and meet this little bald-headed Russian-looking dude in a grimy sort of part of a dirty old space station. Gets handed over a mission to go down to a planet's surface. They go down to the surface, and it just looks absolutely stunning. They've got proper atmospheres, and
I do agree. It looks beautiful. Everything I've seen looks beautiful.
You seen they took the ship down. One guy, as the ship was landing on the planet surface, they showed just landing anywhere, randomly landing anywhere on the planet. One guy opens the door, jumps out the ship while the other one's the pilot in it. Then he gets back in. They fly off, do their mission. Just absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning, man. I really...
VRSport yet, huh?
No, not yet. I mean, they're not talking about it, Caleb. Like I've mentioned it quite a lot of times. Going back, it's the last they spoke that I know of was episode 61 of 10 for the chairman, which is going back a good few months now. And they did talk about Vive very briefly. They talked about the fact that they were wanting to get the new implementations of CryEngine up and running, which they have done now, and then get the game up and running so that all these backers that have put in however ridiculous amount of millions that have been put into that game get their game. It's more important that all these people that have pledged their money get a working product.
I agree. I mean, get the product out there and then work on your implementation. Sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of cash being put into this, and no doubt a lot of people have really highly backed it, and they want to be seeing their game coming out of this. Which, I mean, I've put in a fair bit of cash into that. It's the most money I've ever spent on a game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it just in its monitor state.
Right.
When VR comes, the more the better.
Here we go. I'm just gonna cheat it with the camera. There we go. Yep, cheat it with the camera.
Oh, he's got his gadgets. The old space pirate guns.
Yep, I'm gonna purposely not do it so that I can actually show it to you, right? Oh yeah, see, I'm not in the right spot because I moved my camera now.
Yeah, I get you. I see what you're talking about.
But yeah,
it still works. Up, we can see it. Oh, nice. That's like peekaboo. You know, like you do with a baby. Peekaboo. Yeah, man.
Okay, that's true.
Caleb's Justin Bieber look.
Bieber look?
Yeah, the cheesy grin, man. It was a cheesy Hollywood grin there, man.
Wait. There we go. You gotta shoot yourself. Wait. Oh, no. Oh! Okay, so yeah, it's kind of fun doing mixed reality in your room.
Yeah, that is pretty fun.
I was doing Google Tilt Brush yesterday, so I was just painting around my walls. You know, it was looking pretty good.
Yeah, that would look actually pretty sick.
Yeah, if only I wasn't trying to do this live on air while I'm moving my stuff around. Okay, stop it. There we go. Okay, you know what? That is really annoying when I don't. Oh, it's because I have the grip button for shield. That should be on. In my mind, that should be on. Because if you ever accidentally have an accident and you don't want it to be your shield, you know what I'm saying? So.
Talking of games like Space Pirate Trainer, although this is slightly similar, you played much of the old Fruit Ninja VR.
Fruit Ninjas VRs.
Yeah.
I have played a little bit of it. It's a lot of fun. I like Fruit Ninja.
Yeah. I got very addicted to that game when I was away working one time on one of the boats. Not much to do, and I was just playing it on my phone. And I kind of knew it was a bad idea to get it because I'd find myself getting addicted. And I have. It's a lot of fun. It's there's no secrets there. It's just Fruit Ninja. It's just plain old Fruit Ninja, but it uses motion controls. But it is addictive. Yeah, I've been quite enjoying it.
I believe it, man.
Guilty pleasures, man. Guilty pleasures.
I wish I had multiplayer because I'd play with you. Do you know what your ranking is in that?
I don't know. I got a decent score today. I think it was about. I think I got a score about 2,000 today. Need to do a bit of practice, but we're coming on nicely, man. We're getting there.
Nice. Well, I'm gonna sit there and beat your score, whatever it is. I need you to tell me when I'm getting closer. So am I getting closer to my hands being in the right spot?
No, they're moving away.
Closer now?
They're coming back in, yeah. You need to keep coming back in. They've moved completely out away from.
Maybe this needs to turn?
Yeah, if you can move them to the left and right a bit. Yep, now pull it back in towards you.
Pull it back in towards me?
Yeah,
like
bring it back towards you. Bring
like that?
Yeah. And then back across to the side again. Yeah, it's quite tricky to line that up, man. That's not easy.
Bullshit. This is bullshit.
It's not too bad. It looked better with the guns.
Yeah, that's all. I'm trying to just get it about in the right spots so that I could change it for guns. You were saying Fruit Ninja, and I wanted to. Before.
Katanas, man.
Yeah, I want to see if I can show off the katana. That would be cool. I've never tried that yet, but I bet you can do it, right?
The katanas are really quite nice in it. There's a lot of detail in the blade. They're nice and shiny. There's little sort of motifs in them, and they've got a sort of Kill Bill feel to them as well because they've got the yellow cloth on the handle, on the hilt. There's like the yellow cloth. It kind of reminds me of Kill Bill a little bit.
Is Fruit Ninja made with Steam VR though? I wonder. Oh, I believe it is, but I think it does an Oculus check. I don't know. We'll see. No. Yeah, I can. It does not let me do mixed reality with Fruit Ninja. Dang. Sad day. Sad day. It's okay. Stuff happens.
You need to check out. You need to check out that Racket VR as well, Caleb. I guarantee you will love that game. Yeah, just Racket VR, like a tennis racket, but it's super addictive.
I'm against.
It's super addictive. To the point that I don't know. I've put in quite a few hours on it now, and I actually kind of. Not hurt my shoulder, but you know when you've done a bit too much exercise and you wake up in the morning with that stiffness, you know. Bad shoulder. I was going a bit too hectic. But I mean, that's one game as well where I was speaking about knowing your room scale. You really need to know your room scale in that because you have to swing. I mean, to get a power shot in that, you need to put a bit of effort into it, and if you hit the wall when you're doing that, your controller might be in a bit of trouble, you know. But it's a lot of fun that game.
I play it. Is there leaderboards?
I don't believe there is yet because it's just a demo. It's just a demo at the moment. It's got multiplayer coming, I do know that, and no doubt, yes, there will be leaderboards when the game releases.
That's cool.
But at the moment, it's just a demo.
What's that game called? Hot doggies, horseshoesies, and hand grenadies?
Yes.
It is. So that's but yeah, HC. I don't know if this game would do it either, though. I don't think so. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure which games do and which games will. God damn it. It seems like this one does not have the file. I don't know. We'll try it real quick, guys. We'll try it real quick. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I just wanted to show off some cool gun stuff, but I don't think it's. Oh, is it really going to work? I think it might actually. And I might have lost connection with these, but yeah. Anyway, have you played Hot Dogs and Horseshoes?
I have. I actually jumped in it about a week ago, just sort of messing around with the shooting range, trying out different guns, playing around. They've added, there was some new Russian guns. I can't remember. I think there's maybe a Dragonov and a few other sort of Russian machine guns, submachine guns. Yeah, it's really cool.
Right.
And the guy's always updating it, bringing in new stuff all the time. So very interesting to keep an eye on that, see where it's going.
Anytime somebody's updating their stuff, quite often it certainly does, bring more reason to come back. And yeah, I've noticed that as well. It seems like there's always something else happening there. So I want to see what it is always.
Yeah, I mean, on the subject of stuff like that, I'm really keeping a close eye on Onward as well. Onward's looking really cool. I know Wayne will be checking that out. I believe Wayne has managed to get into the beta or alpha, so he'll be checking that out with his homemade ghetto gun. Well, not homemade, it's made by, what's the dude's name again? He's got some sort of Viking sounding name, Falendorn or so. Yeah, Falendorn. Sounds like something out of Skyrim, man. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see Wayne's take on that, how he feels it works with his gun, and really, really cool looking game.
I agree. I'm jumping in the Hot Dogs and Horseshoes games. It doesn't seem to load though after I start the modular session. So I don't know. Maybe it's nope. There it does that time. So what's the area where you can actually go just pick up any gun?
I think you can do that in the firing range. There's a sort of spawning machine in there. You can spawn any of the weapons from the machine.
Gotcha. Well, here's how I figure out if this works or not. I go to window capture, which, window capture. Hot dogs. Yeah, there we go. Hot dogs, horseshoes. And then we go to current game, and then we just kind of capture the current game. And basically, as long as you've got the black chroma keyed out, it should give me a gun in my hand, but it's not. Could be an issue, guys. I might not be able to do this game, but you know what? You always got to have a backup.
Yeah, man. It's pretty cool that you can do that stuff in the middle of a podcast. To be honest, it's quite smart.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, well, you can still see the controller's there. Whatever. It's not synced properly though. But if I move my camera in real life, wait. Now it is. A lot of people ask me, they're like, how do you get it to sync up on the controllers and stuff? It's like I move the camera, and then I move the controllers until it looks like they're in the right spot, and it takes a while. But sometimes it works. And if this wasn't chroma keyed properly, then you would actually see what you want to. But yeah, I have the black being taken out of the background. Let me just reach forward and grab a gun real quick just to show though. I'm only using one sensor right now. But yeah, I can pick up a gun. Put the gun. Yeah, fun stuff. All right.
Nice.
All right, I'm turning that off now. No more of that stuff, so I can concentrate on the rest of this. We don't have much time, I think, left. Probably gonna end it somewhat short since we don't have all the people here. Ah, what is that? Okay, there we go. Who knows what this thing said? Go back and pop. Go back and look. All my secrets. So Greg. So buddy, old pal.
Yes.
We're gonna be playing some games with the Radial G here next week. Right? Since we couldn't do it this weekend. Is that what's gonna happen potentially?
Yes.
What's happening? I'm talking on Twits.
Weapons test multiplayer stream. Yeah. Weapons test multiplayer stream. So that should be fun, man.
It should be fun.
Radio G. It's a very, very nice looking game. A lot of fun, fast paced, runs really well in VR, and I think weapons is something that it's really been needing for a while now, and it's great to see that the devs are actually coming forward and finally implementing weapons. And really looking forward to having a little bash at it with you guys and some other guys and getting the devs in there and annihilate the devs. That is my plan.
Right. Me too. I just want to jump in and play some competitive VR games. I mean,
I just want to kill the devs, man. I just want to kill the devs, you know.
I need to practice the game before that time comes up, though. So maybe you and I should jump in and play a little bit. Do you usually play that with a gamepad?
Yeah, I do. I've never actually tried to mess around with these controller profile and things and see if I could get my HOTAS in, because it might feel quite nice with the HOTAS. I mean,
the only thing with the HOTAS is I feel like I might be a little more delayed with the HOTAS as opposed. I mean, back and forth. I mean, you've literally got to move your hand in physical space as opposed to a thumb. Yeah. So. Maybe not. I don't know. I just wanted to make sure if you're doing controller support, I'll do controller support too.
Yeah, if it does have controller support, and that is mainly what I use.
Gotcha. Good to know there. Man. I guess besides, I thought I had something. There's always that one thing that you never quite talk about that you wanted to talk about. Besides the mat and the new games, there hasn't been too much going on. Potentially, I might get to try out some of the newer touch controller models. I don't know for sure, so I can't say that for sure at this moment. But from what I've heard from other developers and even from what Jason Rubin has posted.
Did you just say you like to touch models?
Yeah, right. No, I didn't say that.
You get locked up for stuff like that, Caleb.
You know what? Not in America. Not until some people become president. Yeah, no, we won't say who, so then everybody's opinions can flare up. No, this is not about politics. Basically, I've got the development version that that looks like that, and it looks pretty good, but it's got this little from what here's what I can see different so far. Mine's got this little pad for your thumb that goes on it, and trust me, you don't even need to touch it. When your finger goes above it, it works, but like you can touch it and it kind of gives you a spot to grip. And the only time I ever use it really is when I'm like really chucking stuff, and I kind of hold my thumb on it to make sure I don't throw my controller. From what I can see, the newer touch models don't have that grip button as far as I can tell. Okay. But I like my little grip button. Why would you take my little grip button away? I mean,
so basically it's just a sort of little rubber stopper for your thumb to sit on. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not even rubber at all, man. It's like literally just kind of plastic that's been raised a little bit in that spot. Okay. I mean, it does. I mean, it's easy to clean. You could easily clean it just by rubbing it. I mean, but it gives you a little bit of a friction so that your thumb can't just easily slide off of it. I don't know why or what the method is to the new one, but that's from what people have posted pictures on Twitter and have been showing that kind of stuff. And that's just kind of cool. So I've seen other developers showing off their old ones and new ones, and who knows if I'll get to see what those new ones are like. But from, like I said, what I've heard is that the new ones have even increased tracking. So not that I can talk about anything because it's the old NDA thing, but we're not talking about any facts right now. We're just talking about maybes and what we like, and that's what this is. Obviously, I'm not talking about anything from an authoritative position. I have none. But from what I think, I am assuming that those newer controllers, they must have brighter LEDs or infrared lights inside the LEDs, infrared lights inside of them. You know, something, because apparently they have better, you know, tracking from further distances. And if that's so, that's really exciting because, like I've said, with 2 trackers, I can spin around my room and get great tracking. With 3 and 4, I can get perfect tracking spinning around my room, going into the corners of every single corner, you know what I mean, doing all those kind of fun things. And it really does work great. It works great when you're going close to the ground, too. So many people have said, you know, hey, does it work good to go on the ground? It depends on where your sensors are going to be placed. And, of course, if they're not placed in certain spots, they're not going to see other spots properly. You know, mine see the ground just fine. And maybe it's because I have, you know, even when you have 2, they can see enough space to where it's not that big of an issue. Maybe unless your legs are getting in the way of one sensor. I don't know. I just personally have not had those issues myself. So I'm not going to talk about problems that I don't have. But if you all of a sudden have newer touch controllers that are coming out that are even better than what I have, then my gosh, it's going to be at the point to where it's certainly not going to be a question about capabilities. Come on, guys, because these are already, you know, fantastic. So if they've already gotten better, I'm just happy to hear that, you know, props to them. And I know that all the technology, whether you've got a Vive or an Oculus Rift, it's going to get better. They're going to have hardware improvements, and they're going to have software improvements that are also going to increase. And believe it or software, don't ever forget how wonderful software improvements can be. They can change a lot of what, you know, the issues that we have right now, even with speed and things. So there's just, there's so much to be taken, you know, for a grain of salt right now, and is when people say, you know, what to believe in. There's so much that's going to change, and I know that, and I see it changing, and I see the developers just kind of laughing in the background, you know, or some of the people in the industry, because they know that this isn't going to be a question here soon enough. So I just want anybody who's watching this to understand both hardwares are very much more advanced than what we've even seen at this moment in time, and they are fully aware of what's happening in the community. I do know that. They haven't told me personally, but you can see. You can go into the public chats and just look at some of these figures and how they talk. You'll see what I'm talking about. So, anyways, enough with that one right there. People keep talking about Arma in chat right now. What is so cool about Arma in virtual reality, guys?
Well, the thing is, the prospect of Arma in virtual reality is fantastic. Now, I've tried it in Vortex. It works. It's not what you want to do. You want Arma to be Arma in VR. Although it was nice to see it in Vortex, to play it, I want to play it properly. Now, getting that running in VR is quite a task, because Arma is a hell of a demanding game if you want the really nice fidelity. Even for the 1080, when it's overclocked, I can push that game. I can run it at 2560 1440 maxed. I can run it at 4K, but then I'm going to have to dial a few things down a little bit at 4K. But Bohemia Interactive have announced that they're working on a VR project. Now, fingers crossed, I don't know what it is, but fingers crossed it would be nice to see some sort of Arma-based VR game. I don't think we'll get the full experience. I don't even know if what they're working on is Arma-based for VR, but they are working on something.
I guess they're talking about Onward, the game that was somewhat similar. Have you heard of Onward?
Onward, yeah. Wayne's just, like I was saying maybe 10 minutes ago, Wayne's just been accepted into the...
Oh, you're talking about Onward?
Yeah. Wayne's just been accepted into it's either the alpha or the beta for that. I'm trying myself. I've tried a few times in the past. We'll see. But yeah, it looks really nice. Full locomotion support for walking forward. None of this teleporting. And looks very, very nice. Squad-based shooter. Looks fantastic, to be honest.
Nice.
I see Don has jumped in. And he's a bit muted.
Muted.
He is muted. Dude, we can't hear you.
Still muted. It's alright. As long as he is muted, I will sing his song.
There you go. I'm not
No.
muted anymore.
No.
I'm taking a little break. I'm in the office, and I
You
thought,
have
what
no
the hell?
chin.
I have no chin. Here, how about that? No?
Yeah.
I don't have a
Wait,
chin
I
now?
can't hear you, Don. I can't hear you anymore.
Oh, shut your mouth.
I've never seen your chin that close before, Don. You've actually got a bum chin.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Because he's got a dot? Come
What's
on.
up, ass kickers?
Not much. So
You gotta let
you
him
have,
have a dot.
You are in the work just now, Don.
I am in the work just now. Yes, I have escaped the 24,000 students that have been descending upon the university the last 3 days to come hang out with you guys for a minute. Now that means I may have to jump back off, but I just
When the
figured-
boss comes, we might get an online live sack in here.
Yeah, hashtag Don gets fired for trying
It's
to.
like what do you call it? What do you call it when they send the SWAT team out swatting, man? But swatted by your boss, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. But no, I just wanted to come by and I just wanted to say hello and apologize to everybody that I wasn't able to be on. I actually have 3 weekends a year that I have to work the whole weekend, and this is one of them. So.
Happens, man. It happens. If you
Yeah,
don't work.
damn real life.
Yeah.
So while we've got you here, Don, La Prairie, I was talking about that earlier.
Yeah, I
Check
heard
that
you
out.
guys talking about that.
While
Yeah,
you're in here, you may as well give your thoughts on.
I gotta say it was actually a fantastic experience. You know, I went into it. Now I have a background in the theater. A lot of people don't know that, but for most of my late teen years and my 20s, I actually did theater, musical theater. I did a couple of shows when I lived out in LA. I was an extra on like a couple of Fox shows and things like that. So when they sent me the opportunity to take a look at it early, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll check this out. But I really wasn't expecting it to be as good as it actually was. And a couple of the things that really lended credibility to that one was first and foremost the voice acting of John Rice Davies.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he's an amazing actor. I mean, he's been around the scene forever. He's also been in the video game scene for a long time. A lot of people may not remember he was actually one of the main characters in the Wing Commander series.
Yeah.
Wing Commander 3 and 4.
Was he not in Lord of the Ring piece
He
as
was.
well?
He's Gimli. He's the dwarf.
Yeah.
So, So just his voice reading this magical story in the background as you're seeing everything kind of unfurl in front of you, it just kind of brought it all home. But what really took me back in La Prairie was the final sequence when the La Prairie shows up and they motion captured a ballerina. It was some of the most fluid motion capture I have ever seen in a game. I mean, it just freaking state of the art, man. I mean, I was sitting there, I was just mesmerized by it. I didn't want to take the last piece from her because I wanted her to keep dancing around. But all in all, it's a very short experience. You know, when I posted the article, I did get a lot of comments on, you know, it really breaks down to almost $1 a minute, and that kind of goes back to the whole discussion that we had about, you know, the pricing on things with Steam and, you know, Steam VR right now. And there's not really a lot of replay value to it. So, I mean, that's really my only critique of it. But it is a beautiful experience. If you're into classical music, if you're into fantasy stories, if you're into the arts in any way, it is one that I would recommend that you guys give a look to. Just beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, as far as VR implementation goes, it works superbly, and it has you convinced for that short period of time that you're in there.
No, I was on that stage. I mean,
I remember
you know,
there's one scene where there's like this little sort of monkey-like dude on all fours, slaying around the floor on all fours, and you're trying to grab metal from him, from his head. This thing is actually super reactive to your movements.
Yes, it was.
The animation, like you say, the motion capture of this sort of monkey-like character scurrying around, moving its head. I mean, it actually moves its head around your hand when you try and grab it. It's beautifully done. Really is.
The way that they program the reactions, I mean, it just all kind of came together, and you know, you know, as I kind of alluded to last week on the podcast, I have been playing with a Vive these last couple of weeks, and it was in the Vive, it was a great experience because you know, like you said, I would reach down and it would react to me, and I mean, it was just insane. So if you
Yeah,
haven't heard anything about it, head over to VRSpies. I wrote a little article on it. Go to Steam, check out the game. It is a little pricey at $1 per minute. The total runtime is about 10-15 minutes, depending on how fast you play. There is 2 endings, so I mean, I guess it does have at least one replayability to it that you kind of have a choose your own adventure at the end, and I won't go into it to spoil it for anybody, but. I don't know. If you got $10 to spare, I'd say give it a look.
But yeah, just while I was on the subject of that monkey thing, I would definitely say with the motion capture there and the way that thing reacts to you, it's that particular scene definitely can sort of conveyed real life in front of me. Although this thing was a neon Tron-looking monkey, it moved that fluidly and well, reacting to me, that it almost convinced you that it's something living. It's quite hard to describe, but it's that well put together that it quite shocked me. It really did. But like you say, it's an expensive experience for time given.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb brought it up, but he's got the Steam store up, and one of the first things as the video starts playing, it says, "This isn't a game, this is a work of art." And I mean, it really is truly an art piece in virtual reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's something like I can definitely say I've never come across anything like it in VR before.
Yeah, I would very much like to see more experiences, just a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe with a little more replayability.
Yeah,
I was going to say, it really gets me excited for narrative experiences, I mean, being that character in the story, being that character, virtual cinema. I mean, it kind of started making me think about virtual cinema and how cool is it going to be when you're watching that new Star Wars and you're right there on the set and you're actually playing a part in the movie as it's all unfolding around you.
Well, I mean, we've already seen teasers of that in Industrial Light and Magic's Tatooine
experience, exactly.
If that's not Industrial and Light and Magic saying, "Hi guys, look at what we might be bringing you in the future," this is just a little teaser of the sort of movie interactive VR experiences that we want to go down. Very, very interesting prospect. It was very short. It was a free demo, very short, but it opened my eyes to that sort of thing, definitely.
Yeah, there's not very much replayability to that one, but god dang it, I've played it like 5-6 times just because I want to be in that universe so bad.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you as well, Don. I asked Caleb, he hasn't. You checked out Racket NX yet?
Buddy, I wish I could. Like I said, I have literally, I mean, I know I've been talking a lot about this privately with you guys this week. This week is kicking my ass. I mean, by the time I get out of here and I've worked my 10 hours and had people up in my face for all 10 hours of that day, sans the little minute I get to stop for lunch, by the time I get home, I eat dinner and I am just passing out. It was amazing that I actually found the time to get the La Paris article written, and I did record the MSI Electric City, which, by the way, another really cool little short experience. If you haven't checked that out, I highly recommend it. I'll have that video going out tomorrow. But pretty much an advertisement for a motherboard, but by God, it is the coolest advertisement I have ever seen. But yeah, so no, I'm really hoping my 14 days of hell ends next weekend, so I'm really hoping to kind of start ramping things down at the end of the week and being able to get in there and check out some more games for the time that I have Gaspar's Vive before I have to send it back.
Mm-hmm. Talking of Gaspar's Vive, he's just messaging me at the moment.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel very blessed that he was willing to let me borrow that, and I've got to say I've been having so much fun. Played Walter the Wizard with my kids the other night. That one done by Aldine Dynamics, just a phenomenal experience for anybody who has a Vive and hasn't checked that out yet. I highly recommend that one as well. Aldine Dynamics has been doing great things in VR all the way back to the DK1 days. In fact, they actually just recently did an update to Waltz of the Wizard that incorporates their very first DK1 experience into that. They did Trial of the Rift Drifter, where it was kind of a unique thing where it was the first one where you actually had to nod your head yes and no to interact and make the game go forward. So one of the secret rooms now in Waltz of the Wizard is the Trial of the Rift Drifter updated.
Nice. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
You guys are driving the show this week, man.
Yeah, so I was talking to Caleb earlier about Red Bull Race VR. Don, have you had the chance to even look and see this?
Seen it, but I have not experienced it yet. But
Nice.
very much looking forward to seeing your video on it after the cast ends. So
It's nice, mate. Shiny visuals, obviously. Slightly Mad Studios, you know they can do the sim-based sort of visuals very well. Looking at Project Cars. It just looks lovely.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, and they've actually been showing stuff for that for quite a few months now. So it's nice to see that it's finally out there. You said it was a free experience?
Yeah. You can. It's either alpha or beta, but you just go and sign up and say hello. It's me.
Okay. Fantastic.
You can sign up to the old beta testing or alpha testing, whatever it is. So, I mean, that's another good thing. Although we talk about the content on Steam, and there is a hell of a lot of stuff out there. Some of it very good, some of it okay, some of it mediocre. For people who are looking for VR experiences outside places like Steam and Oculus Home, there's plenty of these beta testing things going on, alpha testing with games like Onward and Red Bull Air Race, and there's plenty of them going on, and you can get into a lot of them for not spending a penny. All the dev wants is a little bit of sort of positive feedback, not even positive feedback all the time, just feedback, telling them where you're finding the bugs, telling them where you're finding problems, telling them if you've got any nice suggestions that you think might add to their experience. Yeah, I mean,
that's fantastic.
Definitely a great way to get yourself some new things to play.
Well, looks like we've got one of the other stragglers joining us. Chris, do not lower the camera.
You sauna there, buddy?
Chris, are you in the sauna?
You hanging out in the sauna?
What?
You hanging out in the sauna?
In the sauna?
I am in the sauna, yes.
Yeah, have you got your tackle out, Chris? You better be careful with that camera, mate.
The towel's on his neck, so we know it's not on.
Yeah, you want to be careful with that camera, mate.
No, I won't be dropping the camera, so don't worry
man,
about
no meeting two veg, please.
Don said he was going to join from the office, and I said if you join from the office, I'd join from the sauna. So there you go.
Man of your word. Man of your word.
Here you guys all are. Here you guys all are, finally coming in at the very end of the podcast, right before we ended up, and just in time for me to say, why in the hell were none of you there to support me while I lost in alt space during the dance competition?
I was passed out on the couch after 12 hours of work, but yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Rifter.
Yes.
You are currently in the Netherlands in a sauna. This is interesting.
Well, what? It's nothing. This is what all Northern Europeans do, Greg. This is what all Northern Europeans. Just get with the program.
Yeah, no worries, mate. No worries. I couldn't resist it.
Sorry, no, you can't be on the podcast, Swedish lady next to me. Sorry.
Couldn't resist, mate. So you've been checking out anything new before you disappeared, Chris?
No, not really. I was with you the other night on the leagues, and I thought that was like the highlight of my week was jumping over to Obsidian Ant's Obsidian Orbital in Elite,
yes.
And then discovering it was just basically an orbital and incredibly boring. We made about 30 jumps, 30 hops across space to go and find some aliens, and we couldn't find anybody.
It's all right. I know where we're going now. Don't worry. We were in the right neck of the woods, mate. We were in the right neck of the woods. But yeah, we actually got hammered there. We got completely hammered.
We did.
And lost some
We
money.
got hammered. The AI in Elite is really picking up. I'll say that. It is really picking up.
Yeah.
I'm really worried my phone's kind of phone will shut down any second. But it's so bloody hot in here. Why did I think this was a good idea? No, I'm really looking forward to getting back into Elite and actually checking out where all this alien activity is.
Yeah, I mean, all we did.
It does add a lot to it.
All we did was go in like just a bog standard old res site, and I can honestly agree with you that I think the AI is a bit better than the last time I went in a res site, which was quite a while back. Right enough, I've not been in sort of combat for a while. But yeah, I mean, I found it a lot more difficult than I used to when ships used to spin uncontrollably and they were just sitting ducks. Now it makes you work.
I'll definitely have to be jumping in and checking that out, man. I haven't played Elite in a while.
It's one of these things now, I think, when you consider with the next update that you're going to have multi-crew, you're going to be able to launch smaller ships from out of your hull. The idea of going into a high-intensity res site and attacking like an anaconda. I mean, Greg, how many ships can an anaconda hold now?
Well, I'm not entirely sure that it's specifically the anaconda. I know it's one of the big ships. It could be a capital ship. It could be the anaconda. I'm not entirely sure on the specifics, but I have heard a maximum number of 10. I also heard that it was unclarified whether you would be able to launch 10 at once or not. But there is the capability of carrying 10, so it might be a case that you can launch them all at once. It might be a case of a couple at a time, or 5 at a go, 3, 2 at a go. You know, I don't know how that's going to work, but
you've got to watch out.
Yeah, I know
attacking AI is going to be quite a challenge in the future, I think. And you know, if you want to build up some money through attacking pirates, now is the time to do it, because when the new updates come out, it's not going to be so easy anymore.
Yeah,
this is the golden age.
One of the cool things that I saw coming out of Gamescom as well, now this is just a slight change, but to me it looked really impressive, was this isn't only for frameshift, although it looked really nice in frameshift. Basically, the neutron stars and the white dwarfs are getting revamped so that they look nicer. Just a visual upgrade for the neutron stars and the white dwarfs. So basically, the darker stars when you come in out of frameshift and the big white ones, they're going to look a lot nicer. But also, stars are now visible in frameshift. So when you're looking from your cockpit and you're in frameshift and everything's flying past, you see the actual star coming towards you from the distance. There's nothing there at first, then it's a pinprick and it grows in and you appear on the star at the end of the frameshift.
Oh, that would be way better, because actually it's funny you should say that. I was thinking that today, that the transition, that kind of jump animation, is one of the only parts of Elite that hasn't really changed or updated and looks really kind of dated. And you know what made me think of that? I was watching, I was sitting here earlier and watching Doctor Who with my kids and thinking, wow, the Doctor Who animation when at the beginning of Doctor Who looks way better than Elite.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, we've also got more ships coming. There's, I believe, Frontier have showed off an alien ship at Gamescom, but as yet I haven't been able to find any footage of it. They did in a video earlier today that they released today. It was interview 4 with David Braben. There's been sort of interference over the top of the videos, the interviews that David Braben's done for Gamescom. So there's been like an alien interference coming into the video and then fading out. Today, the interference then went into some sort of footage from the game where you saw a wrecked ship and bits of debris from a massive wrecked ship. There was some sort of green damage on, I believe it was possibly a Sidewinder. There was like a neon green damage on it, and then the interference came in and it faded out again. So that was them sort of teasing the aliens there. But
Well,
Like-
when you say you think it was a Sidewinder, because there's one ship they haven't introduced yet into Elite, and that's the and I'm very sad for knowing this, but it's the Mamba.
Mhm.
The Mamba is a sort of largish, sort of Sidewinder-sized fighter, which has been weirdly absent from the ship roster. I mean, that was an original sort of BBC microcomputer ship that used to fly around, and obviously there's other ships as well that aren't mentioned. So yeah, I'm very interested to see, just from a kind of purist point of view, some of these original ships coming in that are on
Yeah.
the original kind of ship roster chart.
Yeah, I'm definitely I'm interested to see where this all goes. I mean, the NPC crews for piloting dropships sounds really
Hold
good.
on a second.
But what we really want is the next update after the one that's coming, where we get the multi-crew and we're able to pilot those ships and be in our friends' ships and deploy as a dropship pilot in something like the new Taipan. I don't know if you've seen the Taipan, Chris. So basically, the dropships
not yet.
that have been unveiled are the Imperial Fighter, which is currently just used in CQC. That's going to be a dropship. The Federal Fighter, which to me looks like the Condor, also from CQC, and the Taipan, which is the new sort of dropship. Possibly that'll be moving into CQC as well. I don't know.
Hey guys, sorry to interject. Duty calls. I have to run. I have
No
to go
worries,
fix
Don.
a computer. But I will see everybody next week when things get a little bit less hectic. And I hope you all have a good week. I'm sure I will talk to most of you throughout the week. And for those of you watching, hit me up on forum.vrspies.com. I'll be glad
Thanks,
to
Don.
jump in when I can.
Have
Good to see you,
a-
Don.
See you
Have a
soon.
good rest of the day at work, buddy. Take care, man.
But yeah, before we wrap up or whatever, when we do that, one thing that I did see coming to Elite as well, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about Elite because I've been prattling on about it throughout the podcast quite a bit, is passenger missions. Now, passenger missions are looking quite interesting in the fact that you can go and pick up NPC passengers and they will have an itinerary that you need to follow, whether it's drop them off at a port, take them to a res site to watch combat or in a combat zone, or in a res site to watch miners or whatever. They've got these sort of tasks that you're required to do. And it sounds very cool, but I mean, things like taking passengers to res sites to watch combat, I mean, it's just another reason to go into res sites, and we've done this time and time again, whether it's been in there for mining, whether it's been in there for piracy, it's been in there for bounty hunting. It's just another reason to go into a res site, but really doing things like passenger missions into res sites then makes it become slightly more boring, in my opinion, because you don't really have a purpose apart from sit there and watch the battle. You know?
And is this something that's coming in with multi-crew?
No, multi-crew isn't coming in this update. Multi-crew's coming in the next update.
Right,
So
okay,
no,
so
all the sort of passenger-based stuff and the deployable ships are NPCs.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
So you
it's really
can buy.
cool when it gets into multi-crew
Yeah.
plus the dropships. That's when it's going to be, I'm going to be living in Elite at that point.
Yeah, basically at the moment when this update comes out, the dropship fighters, you'll be able to purchase them, and they'll come in different grades of skill. Just as you upgrade in combat, you've got novice up to master, or elite. I can't remember if it's elite or master that's the highest. But basically, buying in a pilot, the price will vary depending on their competency.
I see. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. No, it'd be very interesting. Obviously, get used to the concept of the dropships and having these sort of AI players, and then hopefully bringing in real people to be your multi-crew crew, which is going to be great. And I really look forward to flying with you and everyone else on the Spies team and everyone else in the Spies community as well. It's going to be really, really good.
Yes. Anyway, enough about Elite. We've talked and talked and talked about Elite.
I'm gonna drop off now because I'm seriously worried about a thermal shutdown on my phone. So I'm gonna go.
Yes.
Have a nice rest of the podcast. It's been really fun watching the Caleb and Greg show, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Cheers.
Later. Enjoy, buddy. Enjoy. He needs to not forget that he needs to get hit with leaves, right? So they need to be hitting him with leaves before he leaves the sauna. Is that how they do it?
He needs to get hit with leaves.
How do they do it in Russia with the sauna? Do they hit you with leaves? Yep, they hit you with leaves. Yep.
They hit you with leaves.
Yep. It's a real thing.
You
didn't know that? You didn't? Okay. It's a thing. Get hit.
But some dude just walks up and slaps you with a load of leaves.
After sauna. Dude, I just looked it up. I just get hit with leaves after sauna. Oh, wait, no, that's G. No, okay. First, you got to spell the first word right, and then nothing else works. It's called. What? It doesn't. Platza? It's oak leaf Russian healing. Is that what it's called? I don't know. This is very relevant to virtual reality because if you don't have a relaxed self, how can you do anything virtually, right?
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, so Chris is basically doing this right now. He's just sitting there in the sauna, getting, having guitar played to him, and.
So basically, what you're saying is before you should put on a VR HMD, put your head in a bowl of steam and hit yourself in the face with some leaves, and your face will be more comfortable in the vibe.
Dude, I'm gonna show you how it's done. All right?
Or in the lift.
Do it just like this. You do it just like this. See? You take the leaves and you just start smacking yourself with the leaves. See?
Look at that.
Now pay attention to the leaves. See? See?
Come on,
how that
is he
works?
going to suffocate her?
That's how it works. That's all you got to do. The Russian healing method. It's very good.
He was going to suffocate her, wasn't he?
I don't know what was going to happen there. All I know is I had to end it before halfway through the
You've no idea where he was going to stick the other end of those leaves, man. No idea.
Well, I have an idea, but this is a virtual reality podcast, and we need to keep it that way. But it's a true thing. Leaves will help you. They will help you, just like, eye cream helps you at night, right, Wayne? Right?
Eye cream?
Okay. Yeah. Wayne's eye cream. All right, I'm not going to go into it.
No. Does Wayne like his products, does he?
He likes his products, all right?
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter where they're intended to go normally. Doesn't really matter. So, no, I do...
but as long as it stops the sting.
Yeah, as long as it works, miracle line remover, buddy. I do what you got to do,
Yeah, man.
I'm not one to judge, just one to make statements behind people. No, we are going to, of course. Oh, that's what I know. I knew what I was going to say. Before we end the podcast, I wanted to talk about the simple little pool tournament that we were doing. The VR pool tournament, right? A few of us have not gotten to play even our first game, and if you've been put into the pool tournament and you are part of the chat and forum and you're in the tournament, you got to respond to any messages for the tournament so that we can get those games taken care of. There are prizes now that are being, of course, done by the development crew of VR Pool. So we've actually, got stuff at stake now. And I'm sure somebody wants to win that stuff. So we just need to hurry up and get that tournament taken care of. I haven't gotten to play my first game yet, so I'm calling out whoever it is that I'm supposed to be playing against.
I need to play Penny.
You need to play Penny, huh? Is that your first game or your second game?
First game. It was meant to happen the other day.
Go to VRSpies.com. I'm just going to show you.
I got caught up.
Yeah, community forum. Go over here to community forum, right? Boom. It just jumps right in there. Community forum. How crazy is that, right? VR Pool tournament. I'm just going to click on that. And, here we go. I'm going to go up to top here so we can actually read the information. Okay, there has to be an easy way to do that. Okay, there we go. Here's our post sign-up sheet. Oh, hey, I can help you if you need hacks. Round 1. Here we go. UKRifter played Crying Scotsman, and UKRifter won.
Nice.
Reckoner versus Cyclops. Cyclops won. VR Gaming Evolved versus Penny. So, Penny and VR Gaming Evolved need to play, hopefully this coming week, because we need to get this all taken care of this week. Or I think whoever doesn't play this coming week is just out. Lotus Plant, you and I are up together. I didn't realize that till like a day or two ago. And I sent you a message, Lotus Plant. I sent you a message. I am looking for a response so we can play this game. I want to play it. And then we have Hoopermation versus Gunter. Look at that. Hoopermation and Gunter. Come on, guys. They're always in VR. That should be an easy one to play. You guys are both always in VR. And if you don't play it, no big deal. There's no prizes for you. Bravo and Pittsburgh Joe. We played. Pittsburgh Joe jumped in the win. 6 marbles and Jansha.
Yeah,
Come on,
so
guys.
as soon as Chris and Penny get home, I'll get my game sorted out with Penny and hopefully not be made to look like a fool from the female.
No. I would never let that happen to you, buddy. Oh, he'll be all right, buddy. He'll be all right. I guess we should ask, though, does anybody have any questions in chat that wants to say anything before we jump out? Can't guarantee we'll get to everything, but we could certainly jump on a subject if we needed to before we get out of here. But other than that, it's going to be a week of working and development for myself. I've got 5 days straight of work coming up. Good things. I don't like to work, but hey, you have to. So I always end up doing it. That's why I don't like to do it, because I'm always doing it, right? I just want to sit and finish, The Office. I still haven't finished that. That's how many TV shows I don't get to watch. I didn't even finish The Office yet. I never watched Lost either. You know that? Yeah. All right. If you test, wait. I can't.
If you test anniversary update and the latest NVIDIA driver, huh?
I'm bad at this apparently. What? I don't know, man. Whatever you were saying. If you tested anniversary update and the latest NVIDIA driver, I always update the NVIDIA driver when it tells me to. So if it ever tells me there's an update, I update all the time.
I am updated beyond the update. I am in the beta of GFE because there is a beta now.
Yeah. I pretty much do the betas as well. I'm not afraid of them. I've really never had issues when it comes to virtual reality and beta updates. At this point, it seems that NVIDIA understands virtual reality is a thing, and it seems that they test that before they usually pop out.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time. It's been a good few years since there was any issues. No, I think it's been longer than that, to be honest. I mean, the last catastrophe with beta drivers for graphics cards, as far as I can remember, probably about 4.5, 5 years ago, when they released a driver that messed with the fans and burned out a few people's cards. But it's been a long time since anything like that happens, and beta drivers are always good nowadays. Right.
Yeah. Tom mentions that Aerofly FS2 Flight Simulator has now got VR support, which is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I've been in there. It's very nice.
See, I've seen something. I haven't seen that one specifically. For Strikeman, he's got to ask the important question of, got an itchy nose, how to fix it, and we're all just going to say, buddy, rehab is probably the best option for you. So just you can do it, and it'll take care of that itchy nose just right on the spot. So you got Windows Update 2? No, I haven't had a Windows Update. No, not at all. Have you had any Windows Update, Greg?
Yes, I have had a Windows Update.
Recently?
Indeed. Maybe Wayne had one a few days before me, and then I must have got it about 4 or 5 days to a week ago.
Yeah, I haven't had an update for myself on that. Then again, I haven't updated or started my computer in a while.
Wayne seemed to have some problems with it. I can't remember what it was, and he ended up reverting back to his old build. So far, I haven't seen any issues, but
I'd say a good important note to remember when you're just doing this VR stuff is every month probably want to do create a restore point on your computer. It is a valuable thing to do and will help you. Make sure you name it so you know what it is. But hey, right now, if you haven't done it in a long time, everybody go create a restore point on your computer and then name it. This is a restore point from today. Use it. All right. It'll come in handy, especially if you have any issues like that with Windows updates. So it's certainly something that I forget to do all the time, and it's so upsetting when you think that you've done it and you haven't. So it's a simple way to just ensure you won't have any issues from here on out, and that usually does fix a lot of Oculus issues. So if you have an Oculus Rift per se. But all right, I don't think I have anything else that I needed to talk about at this moment, Greg, other than that I'm going to try to play a few games this week. I'll try to record them. Like I said, I've got plenty of work coming up, which will take a lot of my time, which is a good thing. At the same time, hopefully I'll be able to get some content out there in the midst of it all. So I'm sure that can happen. It's got to be positive.
No, I think I'm pretty much good as well. I have one thing, guys. I am currently trying to start a campaign for global domination and take over the world. So if anyone wishes to join my army, feel free. Send me an email. We'll start up an army and conquer the world.
Sounds like a good idea there, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate that little bit of info because now we know that Greg is going to be the guy that we all need to take out. You hear that? You can't conquer the world if I beat you up first, buddy.
I want an underwater lair.
Did you?
Yeah,
right,
and a cat.
right.
You know, a nice little cat to sit and stroke in my underwater lair.
All right. Well, in virtual reality, I'm sure that you can have that. I'll make you a little underworld lair inside Toy Coliseum.
That's why I like Subnautica. You know, I'm going to sit in my little lab, sit and stroke my virtual pussy in my underwater base.
Okay, wait. I'm just gonna grab it. I'm just gonna grab this right here. Here we go. Wait. Wait. I gotta move this way and then pull it. Yeah. Shit. That looks so stupid. All right. All right, guys. So good to be here today. I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time.
Bye-bye!
Yo, what's up there, guys? It's Immersive Gamer 83, and thank you very much.
Watching VR Gaming Evolve.
What's up, guys? Billy over at Pretty Neat VR.
Cooking and good looking. Welcome back.
Hello, and welcome back to another Reality Check VR video.